Hi guys, it's Craig, and in today's video we're going to test out the old theory that insurance is sold, not bought. After watching this video, you're going to have a good understanding of how insurance has evolved over time and hopefully help you spot some of the tactics that are potentially being used that are stopping you from getting the right insurances in place the first time, sorted out properly so that you don't have to worry about it anymore. So before we jump into the video, if you like these types of videos, we bring them out each week. So if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and we'll bring them to you each week. But let's jump into today's video. So welcome and thanks for finding the video in which today I'm going to walk you through the old theory that insurance is sold, not bought. To start off, I'm going to walk you back to before I started out in insurance. This is about 14 years ago. I was working full-time bartending. I was also full-time at uni and I had to do work experience in a small financial planning firm. This was a part of my degree and part of that was doing 200 hours work for free in this financial planning firm. At the end of this 200 hours, it was clear that this is what I wanted to be doing. And we started a paid arrangement where I went to work for them in addition to all the other things that I was doing at the same time. Now, back in those days, to get your financial planning license, there was an academy that had an intensive learning period of 2 weeks where you were meant to cram everything in that could possibly equip you to walk away to be able to give advice to people. Literally, after 2 weeks at this course, we could walk away and be in a position that we could then give advice to people, which looking back on it is pretty crazy. Part of this course involved intensive role-playing and sales training. When it came to insurance, we were told to borrow other people's war stories, meaning cases that they'd experienced, and use them as our own until such time as we built up our own repertoire of stories that could assist in the sales process. I was told things like it was my job to back up the hearse and let people smell the flowers, which really made me question whether or not I was sitting in the right room and whether this was a job that I actually wanted to take on for the rest of my life. It was at this time we were also told about the importance of referrals, and having no experience in getting referrals before in my previous roles, one thing that we were told as a tactic was at the end of a meeting, we were to ask our client for the names of 3 people that they could suggest that we spoke to. The tactic then was to not look up from your piece of paper until such time as the person had provided you with those 3 names. Fortunately, following this intensive 2 weeks, I walked away with the qualifications to be able to give advice, but the real learning came back in the real world. I was fortunate enough to be surrounded by really good advisors at the time who I learnt a lot from and mentored me through to the point to show me that our role as advisors is as an educator rather than a pushy salesperson. One thing that I did have to learn and upskill on was having those difficult conversations, challenging questions when I really hadn't had a huge amount of experience myself. Having done this for a long time, I'm not saying that new advisors can't give that advice. I just think that they've had less of the experience when it comes to challenging those thoughts, understanding the questions that are really being asked without just listening to what's being put on the table. I believe that it's the role of a good advisor to provide all of the information that you require to take this away, digest it yourself, ask questions, and then come back and make an informed decision. Now, statistics are always a funny one, and they can be used to paint whatever picture you desire. I could show you whatever stats you'd like to see, but there's generally more chance that you're not going to need to claim on insurance than you are statistically going to need to claim on the cover that you have. This is preferable in the fact that you haven't needed to claim on it, meaning that you haven't suffered one of the conditions, injuries, illness, that sort of thing that would lead to that claim. But it does mean that you would have taken on all this expense, paid the premiums without actually needing to use the product itself. Now, insurance is ultimately the product that I sell, but the real value comes from the conversations that we have in the lead up to you making a decision about the covers that you'd like to select. Done properly, insurance is one of those things that you can do once, put it away, and only come back periodically to review the cover levels to ultimately get to the position, hopefully, that we can self-insure, meaning that we don't need the insurance anymore. So now I know from a lot of you who've commented on social media, some of the posts that I've put out there, that insurance has been sold to you and you've been pushed into something that you're not very happy with. So I'd ask that you share in the comments below some of the stories that you've heard, which might help other people that are looking for insurance at this stage to avoid being trapped into something that they don't want to do. So I hope you've learned something from this video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.